Hello and welcome to another episode of Study of X, the bi-weekly X-Men podcast where we discuss the Krakoan era of X-Men comics. I am your host, Tim, and with me as always is Sergio.
Hey, hello. It's me again, like every episode.
Yeah, and Chris.
One time we'll switch it up and we just won't tell anybody, but for now it's as usual.
Yeah, the only switch up is I try to just throw a curveball on which one I introduce first. But
It's true. Sometimes I have to prepare because sometimes I'm the first one, sometimes I'm not, and I have to get a joke ready, and I usually don't.
yeah, it happens. But kind of a grab bag of issues this week. We got X Factor number 9, the penultimate issue of that. We're starting off X-Corp, and we got Marauders number 20. Which also feels like it's kind of wrapping up to an ending despite there being 7 issues left.
Yeah,
Or at
kind
least
of
a
very weird
goodbye
one.
to a team member.
Yeah, a lot of stuff ending, something beginning. I think a grab bag is a very good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, I would be happy just discussing one of these. Honestly, I don't love the other two.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, I think I know which one you want to discuss, and the two you don't.
Yeah, I think it's fairly obvious. I'm going to say I trust you to know which one of these I like.
Yeah. I think I know where you land too. So let's jump into that one then.
Okay.
No.
I was gonna say
yeah.
I don't think you're right on that one.
I'm guessing it's Marauders then.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's so
Yeah.
hard to not like Marauders, especially when this is a How Cool Is Storm issue.
This issue of X Factor makes me sad.
This issue also makes me sad, especially having looked up stuff after and surrounding it. Just a little bit. I'll be going into a lot of it in X Factor number 10 because that will be the final issue of X Factor. But Leah Williams did come out shortly after this came out and said she found out that X Factor was ending as she was in the middle of writing this. So that's why issue
and you
number
can't
9.
tell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
this
tell.
is this feels like Excalibur pacing.
Yeah, and then some.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
it's
let's
very understandable to me what happened in this issue.
Yeah, coming off of the last episode where we covered the issues right before this one, I was like, yeah, I was kind of feeling the high. Just decided to jump straight into this one, and it was just like, oh no.
Yeah, it honestly, just everything about how X Factor ends just makes me feel sad. Both for just this as a story and for Leah Williams as a writer, because it's very clear that she really likes these characters and also had a ton of stuff planned. She actually very recently, about 7-8 months ago, came out in a panel and was like, here is all of the stuff I had planned up to about 45 issues of X Factor.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, so she had a lot of stuff in the docket ready to go, and she tried to put as much as she could in this issue and the next one. Yeah, for better or worse. But yeah, let's jump into it. So this one does kind of break the naming convention that she's gone for. This is X Factor number 9, Interlude, DJ Mark's mixtape of Mojoverse beats to make out to. So instead of any of the others, which are more symphonic, this one is not that. This one came out in May of 2021, and we are going to open up here pretty much right off the back of where the last one ended, where Rachel and most of the team, minus Polaris, are all going to be chrono-skimming inside Siren's mind to try and figure out what is actually going on here.
Yeah.
So, really fun.
I love the chrono skim.
I do too. It's
Yes,
a really
this is-
fun visual.
Yeah, I think this whole sequence is pretty good. But yeah, I agree. This looks really cool.
Yeah, this definitely feels like, okay, this was kind of planned out and put on paper before the word came in that, okay, you're going to have to wrap up the issue. Because it kind of takes its time a little bit. We see as the group goes through her memories, and there's the earliest they can get to are the big bonfire parties when Krakoa is first founded.
Yeah, and there's a big old thing in the air.
Yeah, big old spooky eyeball with black tendrils hanging on to some of the trees nearby, staring down at everything. Very unnerving, very unsettling.
Yeah, and the Morrigan is just kind of lurking behind Siren.
Yes, and as this is happening, Rachel's trying to go even further back in time, but can't. The only thing that she gets is the word Geas screamed at her over and over and over again, which, thankfully, in the book, Prodigy and Dakin both do a good job explaining what that is.
Yeah, God-powered gag order.
Yes. All you gotta know.
Our more Prodigy gives a more technical explanation of what it is, but it's Dakin kind of nailed it there. There's a bit here that I think is very funny where Kyle walks in and they do kind of the thing where Kyle is relaying information. They're kind of having a conversation through Rachel where he's trying to figure out what Northstar wants for dinner.
Yeah, so Rachel's having to play messenger of going back from the conscious world to the chrono-skimming world. It's a fun little gag before eventually she's just like, okay, this is stupid, and pulls Kyle into everything so they can just talk to each other.
Yeah. Also, I want to shout out Northstar saying "I'm all ears" to iBoy responding with "I'm all eyes." It's just I love this kid.
And then Prodigy immediately going, Trevor, no.
Yeah.
He's such a precious boy. I think he's the thing I'm gonna miss the most from X Factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this is kind of where things are gonna start going really fast. So after the two lovers figure out what they're going to do for dinner, the rest of the team that are in Siren's mind are going to be pushed even further, since because the Morrigan and Siren are tied together, Rachel should be able to shoot everybody into the Morrigan's mind, and that's exactly what she does.
Yeah, we get a big old creepy black heart thing, and they're like, oh, I guess it's the geese.
Yep, and we also get a bit of an upgrade again to iBoy, as he mentions that he can see sorcery, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, just as you do.
Yeah, you can see the traces.
Yeah. We cut into a data page here. Northstar is texting with Danny Moonstone. Moonstar?
Yeah, Moonstar.
Yeah. And he wants to have a talk. He's where there's some things going on with the X Factor. They're getting stronger, and it's time to have some dinner.
Hey, how appropriate is it to lie to the Quiet Council and keep a secret from them?
Yeah.
Extremely appropriate.
Okay,
do it
good.
as often as possible.
Good.
I love how Northstar mentions this, and she just is like, yeah, it's cool. She's gonna get karma.
Yeah.
We're gonna have dinner with him and Kyle.
Like, oh, you also want to keep a secret from the state because they're clearly not up to good stuff? Yeah, we gotcha.
Yeah, and I like Northstar's motives here. Like, it's not exactly the most like groundbreaking thing, but it's nice to see him just kind of go pop-up air mode and be like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna have the best intentions for my crew here. They're gonna want to weaponize them.
Yeah, could you imagine if iBoy got picked up by like Beast or something?
Yeah, like don't let X-Force get wind of what X Factor can do.
No. Oh god, no. They would make them do horrible things.
Do you think most people in Krakoa would agree with this?
What?
Are most people pretending that the Quiet Council is quote-unquote good and just keeping secrets openly because that's just the nature of people, and also they know that they're probably they have an ulterior motive that they're not talking about? How much of Krakoa's like stability and promise of a perfect new country is all charade?
I wonder, because I have to imagine there are people that I don't know if like what the Quiet Council like is completely doing is completely public at this point. I imagine people probably have bad vibes about certain members of the council, Sinister, Mystique, Sebastian.
Yeah, I just wonder, what the percentage of people who like buy the promise or the idea wholesale.
I would say at this point, I bet there's still quite a bit of trust in Xavier and the other X-Men on the council.
I would also say that. I mean, even if you wanted to mirror current, U.S. politics and everything like that, people have a lot of trust in the people that they believe can do the thing that they're saying they're going to do. So I think there's probably a good amount there that does. I think North Star kind of broaching this subject is just a sign of he's been through this so much and he's been on so many teams and seen all the politics that he knows he should probably keep iBoy safe.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was kind of like a vocal group of people that are like, yeah, I don't know about the Quiet Council, but I would say for the most part, I don't know if like distrusting them is the hot thing to do.
Yeah, that's funny because by virtue of like being a important character, you've been in a lot of teams and you've had a lot of like intrigue happen to you, so you're probably more likely to distrust the Quiet Council implicitly, like on premise, as a premise.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Yeah, as opposed to the others who maybe have only been on one team or have been on no teams. They really have no idea what might be going on behind closed doors.
Yeah. But yeah, iBoy currently seeing through sorcery, and North Star just immediately hits him with, oh yeah, by the way, this stuff you've been doing, this is X Factor only information.
Yeah, tell no one, please.
Yeah, it's like, please, iBoy, do not tell anybody about this.
So, but instead of kind of letting this intrigue and question play out, Dakin immediately offers up the Heart Some Blood, and we get a cryptic riddle that is on the same page, immediately answered as Prodigy says, oh, the answer to this riddle is Shatterstar, the person that we know is stuck in Mojoverse.
Yeah. Just Prodigy's just like, yeah, that's Shatterstar. And then just promptly deciphers the whole poem. I like this bit of Prodigy just being able to figure this out, like, offhand. That just feels like something he would be able to do.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if this was always going to be the answer, or if she really did have to speed it up, and having Prodigy do it was just the easiest way.
What I am going to guess is that they might not have. I don't know if this was always going to be the answer, but if it was, I don't think they would have gotten to it immediately.
Yeah,
I think this ultimately works. But yeah, everything after this is just a blur.
Yeah, this right
like,
here.
I'm okay with this reveal here where you go, oh yeah, they're probably going to tie the Mojoverse stuff from quite a number of issues back into this.
Yeah.
Which does make sense. That was kind of a unresolved thread. It makes sense that it's going to eventually converge. But yeah.
Yeah,
just not like this, please.
Yeah, I definitely think like this is really the turning point of the issue where we kind of go into typical X Factor, comfy writing into
Yeah, the series is ending way sooner than we thought. We need to move.
Yeah, so we quickly gather a band.
Oh yeah, we have a kid that we saw very briefly. His name is DJ. We have Leela Cheney, we have Surge, Winddancer, and Dazzler, as we are now immediately in the Mojoverse, as the plan to break out Shatterstar and the other mutants there has to go into motion now.
Yeah. We get a admittedly very cool page here.
Yes, this is a very cool page, all things considered. I do like the Dazzler concert. I think it's cool.
Yeah. We break in. We use this concert as a distraction while we just try to break out people.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people here, too, that are helping out. We have Rainboy, we have Anole here, there's Magic, we see Wolfsbane, we see Moonstar, we see Karma. There's a lot of mutants that are involved.
Yeah, we got all the boys here to really help this thing out here. Nature Girl's here.
Yeah, and everything goes, again, quickly but smoothly. Magic goes up to Mojo himself and says, okay, so my X-Corp friends, which, hey, we're going to see pretty soon, said, that there could be lawsuits, all of this stuff, because as we know, Mojo is all about his television shows and performances. But instead of that, Magic is just going to have him sign a deal that says Mojo can no longer mass kill mutants, also can no longer, kill them for their DNA or anything like that. Basically, he has to let all of them go.
Yeah, and he's partners with Krakoa now, so... And yeah, we resolved the Mojoverse plot in all of about 2 pages. Dazzler says we're all free now, and we're good to go. Everybody gets to go back through the gate.
Yay!
Yeah, there's a lot. There's even more setup here too. Wind Dancer just kind of very quickly gets positioned as the envoy to Mojoverse, which seems kind of mean, honestly. Since she was there and then had to get murdered on TV in order for her to be free. But I'm sure there was a whole other plot there that we just did not have time to see.
I like Shatterstar and Northstar saying hi to each other. Just hello Shatterstar, hello Northstar is just it's a good bit. And yeah, we have Shatterstar go off to go kill the Morrigan. Also, Richter can feel this.
Yes. So because the Morrigan is a god, it kind of plays into a little bit of weird mythical soul stuff, as we're going to be seeing very shortly. This is going to be explained a little bit in issue 10, but unfortunately, Leah Williams got her writing taken out of issue 10 that would have explained it fully. So once we get there, I will tell you what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So Shatterstar and Siren begin to fight each other, and we get these honestly very beautiful next couple of pages as Siren is desperately trying to fight off the Morrigan, and we learn a little bit more as to why she made this deal. Essentially, the Morrigan went to her and said, "Hey, I see that you mutants conquered death. I am a goddess of death. You can't run from me forever. So either I am going to have to just kill a bunch of mutants over and over and over again to satiate what I need, or Siren, you can offer yourself and die for every mutant death that I have been denied."
Yeah. And yeah, Siren agrees to this, just sacrifices herself for the rest of the mutants here. And yeah, just demands a ritual sacrifice. 1,000 deaths of just Siren just constantly killing herself.
Yes. And that's why we've seen her die in such strange ways, and why there's been honey and pollen and chalk and everything, because yeah, they are ritualistic deaths.
Yeah. We get a cool little page here of a bull.
Yes.
Where we just
so it's really pretty in Celtic folklore style. There's also another individual here with Shatterstar. I'm pretty sure that's Q Hullen, the Celtic warrior god. I tried to look it up and see if there was anything else tying this, especially with a white bull. I couldn't find anything specifically. The only thing I could find is a lot of the original Celtic stories that have survived are called Tane Bow, and those are cattle raid battles, basically. So cattle and cows and bulls is a big thing. I couldn't find anything else other than that. There's possibly more that I just didn't catch, but, there's a lot of mythological symbolism going on in this fight.
Yeah, the Morrigan's kind of ranting the entire time about what she was and what she used to be. She was, among the first century, summoned by humanity to stand guard against the edge between worlds, seen and unseen. She just decommissioned kings and then gets stabbed by Shatterstar. Well, the bull, which turns into Shatterstar's sword. As Shatterstar just kind of puts her down, saying there are no kings in Krakoa. Says it's an honorable end, kisses her on the forehead, and we are done. Siren's back.
Kind of.
Yeah, I really like the art style in these pages, like you already mentioned.
Yeah, it's great looking.
Yeah, it calls to I don't know precisely like Celtic art, but it does look like older kind of ancient art. And
Yeah, it's very...
It works really well. It would have been fun to see this like lengthened out a little. But I really do love how this kind of works as both an info page and also an actual comic within the comic. Just a battle occurring at another representational level, which is very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But,
I agree. I think it's a wonderful choice that they went with it.
And the way like we transition into that mode is also really fun. And then we transition out of it with the horn impaling the Morrigan, and then that turning into the sword. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's very like stylistic. I like these pages a lot. And we, at the end here, Shatterstar kind of stands over Siren's body. She lifts her hand, touches him, and gives him a parting gift, as it looks like this little blood link between him and Richter is established. Richter grips his heart as this is happening. And they both kind of just feel each other. We see all these panels of them in the past, as they kiss and Richter holds his body. And they're all linked together by like this like weave of blood, which is pretty cool. Excited to see what that's about. You'll probably also be rushed, so that'll be a shame. It sucks because I like all of the ideas here. Like, I can see a world where all this is very satisfying.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just not this one.
This should have happened over 4 issues.
Yeah, yes. It would have been great. Like,
yeah.
all of these ideas are good. I think everything with Shatterstar is very good. I like how this is tying into the Mojoverse. It's just so rushed, and like it's a shame. It's one of those things where I really cannot put much blame on the writer for. It's very much like hey, you have to wrap this up, and she's doing what she can. But it is hard to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, I appreciate that we did get a look at it, even though it is really rushed. So we did get to see the Mojoverse stuff brought back and tied in together. And like, yeah, I agree. I wish it would have been drawn out more, especially the return to Mojoverse and gathering the crew to go do that. And like, I bet it would have been super fun. But yeah, this is what we got.
And the rough part is like, I don't feel like I know Shatterstar based on these. So a lot of this does kind of just like fall a little bit flat because I just don't have much connection to this character right now. Like there's this like connection with him and Richter is like, this is some comic lore here. Like that's something that's happened in the past, but like as someone who just came into this, I feel like that relationship isn't super established. So looking like we might get more of that, it's just kind of like, okay, sure.
Yeah, and we have more of a connection to Richter just because we've seen him more in Excalibur, but he's never interacted with Shatterstar or really mentioned him in any way in Excalibur, I don't think. So it's just, like you said, I'm sure this makes a lot more sense and feels better if you've known the past stories with the two of them together, but if you're just coming into it like we are here, there's not much.
Yeah. His whole thing in, what's
Excalibur?
God, in Excalibur, yeah. His whole thing in Excalibur is like being alone and having been picked up by Apocalypse.
Yeah, so
it kind of doesn't fit as well as you might expect, but yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. It really is a shame. Like there's so much conceptually I like here, and again, the art here is like brilliant, but yeah, it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Personally, I'm just going to be like wary of any time a comic goes meanwhile at the Braddock Lighthouse.
Yes.
Yeah. That's very
that
fair.
kind of signals things are about to go into overdrive in a way that I don't often appreciate.
Yeah. That is a good test for Anyway, speaking of want to talk about X-Corp?
I was thinking of how I could make a tie into that because it is also Teeny Howard. But I think X-Corp is probably a good way to put it. Okay, so X-Corp is very interesting. where do I even start with this one? Okay, so I'll start with this. So for X-Corp number 1, Simply Superior, this is written by Teenie Howard, who also does Excalibur and did a lot of work on X of Swords. This first one came out in May of 2021, and this book was actually announced to come out way back in October of 2019, so like at the very start of the Krakoan era. It was announced in a Letters to the Editor section of Captain Marvel number 11. And that's because the artist for X-Corp was originally set to be Carmen Carnero, who was the Captain Marvel artist at the time, and the series was set to launch in February of 2020. But as you can see with this, it
got COVID.
Yeah, it's one of those titles that just got hit through the COVID pandemic pretty hard. And if you're curious about all of that, we discuss it back in our episode where we talk about Wolverine number 2 and 3. It's never talked about what exactly happened behind the scenes for X-Corp, but we do know that eventually the book resurfaced with Alberto Foch as the artist and Teenie Howard as the writer. It was never announced way back in 2019 who the writer was, but with an interview with Polygon, it seemed pretty clear that Teenie was always set to be that writer. It's just something happened with the artist, and we don't know what that is.
Yeah. Also, I want to shout out the cover here. This is sick.
It's pretty cool. And it makes a lot of sense that this would have been slated to release alongside the starter Krakoan issues. It makes a lot of sense as a concept, kind of a companion to Marauders in a way.
Yeah.
Yes. I was thinking that, and also the original X-Men team that went up to the Orcus Forge back at the start had Penance and Angel on that team, but they both died. So they were always kind of slated to be more important. They just kind of got pushed.
And also, just throughout these comics, X-Corp is mentioned just in peripheral quite a bit. They're very much on the offhand just talked about, so it does feel like a lot of these comics are operating in a world where X-Corp would have been established already.
Yeah, I feel like we've had a lot of questions in the past about how exactly the flower stuff works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been up in the air, and this looks like something that's designed to kind of provide a framework around it in a way that would have been appreciated earlier. And yet, this issue doesn't really go into that at all.
No, it does not.
This book conceptually is an interesting idea. I just don't think the way it plays out as a corporate drama works.
Also, I just want to, again, I just need to shout out this cover one more time. I want to talk about it a little bit just to describe it. It's like this red banner up top of we get a silhouette of Angel and Penance just in a suit. But they're casting shadows on the rest of the page, but the shadows are their alternate Archangel Penance forms. And then we get the faces of those forms in the shadow.
This is like a spy rom-com movie poster.
It looks like a movie poster. That is a good way to describe it. Yes, I like the little. You get the little 48 tablets. They kind of have the pharmaceutical references in here as well. There's 1 milligram written on it. It's a cool cover.
What this tells me is this is going to be mutant Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah. Anyway, so we get to our first page and it opens like an onboarding video to a company.
Yes, it's very silly. We see this really, really beautiful, massive island that has a whole bunch of, I don't want to, vaguely futuristic designs all over it and everything. And we're immediately going to be introduced to our, quote-unquote team here, or at least some of the team. We're going to get shots of other mutants doing different work around X-Corp, either in the lab or designing apparel or anything else, before we are met with Angel and Penance, who are going to be the two main characters. And taking a look of all the notes that I have, I'm sure we have discussed Angel because he's very, very self-explanatory. He's an original member of the X-Men all the way back from 1963. But we didn't really talk about Monet or Penance. We did probably a little bit, but knowing she was going to come in here way later, I pushed it off a little bit. But I do have to ask, Sergio, what do you know about Angel, just in general?
Not a whole lot. I think everything that's been explained to me comes from previous episodes where he's been mentioned, and you guys have explained a little bit about him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just kind of one of those mutants that when you see him, you kind of see what you get.
Yeah.
His name is Warren Kenneth Worthington III. Like I said, he's an original member of the X-Men. If you have seen a blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy with angel wings, that's Angel. Really, one of the biggest things for him is that at one point he quote-unquote died and became Archangel when Apocalypse turned him into a Horseman of the Apocalypse. After that, ever since then, he has gone back and forth between his angel form and his archangel form, and it's unclear if he can do that at will, if it's a sudden change, if he's always that way, and his normal human look is a cover. Very unclear, and it's not going to be clear in this issue either. It seems to kind of change with the writer. But ever since that, entire thing with Apocalypse, he has struggled with an inner desire to destroy and kill other people. So he went from more of a Boy Scout to a bit more of a monster, which, again, is going to play in with Monet. So Penance, sometimes called M, her name is Monet Yvette Clarice Maria Therese St. Croix. She was first introduced in Generation X #1 in 1994. She's another one of those mutants with a really weird, complicated backstory involving her family. I wish she wasn't, but she is. So she's been in a lot of other things, kind of like Angel. She's been in Generation X, the X-Men, X-Factor, the original X-Corp. There was a very short run of that. There's a lot of weird things going on with her siblings, but the one that you really need to know is her brother Marius, who is known as M-Plate, is a mutant vampire who gains life force by draining energy from mutant bone marrow, so he is a flat-out villain. He also wields dark magic, and at one point wanted his sister Monet to join him in conquering dimensions. She declined, so he kidnaps her and turns her into this creature with diamond skin named Penance. Eventually, she gets free, and she gains the ability to transform at will back to that Penance form, but it's again kind of like Angel, unclear how much she can control it. Why can she transform back and forth? It's kind of unknown, so there's that aspect that is now going to connect these two characters. But even without that Penance form, she is incredibly strong. She has superhuman strength, speed, stamina, she can fly, she has telepathy, and she also has a genius-level intellect. So this is kind of a massive powerhouse duo that we have going on here.
Yeah. So this issue opens up, we get like a little talk of like, as we get kind of various shots of them doing stuff, and we end on just showing their two faces, just our kind of smiling faces of X-Corp with just the lines, "Hello and welcome to X-Corp, we're simply superior." It's a terrible line.
It is a terrible
It's funny
line.
how all of these like text boxes say so little.
It's very accurate corporate speak. You know?
It reminds me of there's this comedy show on Dropout that's called Make Some Noise, where they've got these comics come and do prompts. And one of those was like exactly this thing, like a corporate intro message that said a lot, but actually said nothing. And this is just a perfect reproduction of how that goes.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of, Chris? It reminds me of like when you're at Disney World, like around like the Tomorrowland area. And
yeah,
you just like walk into Walt like talking about some nonsense. It's like that, or like Epcot.
Yeah.
Yeah, of like, we're gonna build a better tomorrow, and we're all in this together, and
Yeah, it's like what does that mean? Like,
yeah, just the heavily sanitized, this passed the corporate board of approval kind of thing.
yeah, and to be fair, I think that's the intention here, but I don't know if the intention is satisfying. So let's.
It feels like the intention for the whole issue, honestly. We're gonna come back to this on the very last page.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll discuss this more. I don't know. There's something that is just off about this whole thing. Anyway, yeah, Wind Dancer is in charge of the production of this video, it seems. I'm glad she's also doing this in addition to I guess her liaison to the Mojoverse.
Yeah, I'm sure this was a lot more fun than going back to the Mojoverse.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? These two, co-CXOs are very, very busy, and they both have different meetings they need to go to, so they're gonna have to do a reshoot later.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, they do reconvene back at the Quiet Council chamber where Monet and Warren meet up with Xavier to briefly discuss a few things, mostly business deals that are moving and things that are happening. Again, X-Corp has been around for a little while, or X-Corporation as it is known sometimes. We got a data page on it, I believe back in House and Powers, that Professor Xavier is the one that started the corporation, and that is true. He used his wealth to start it, and it was at first more of a philanthropic organization helping mutants around the globe and advocating for mutant rights, and now it's actually turned into a proper corporation.
Xavier opting to work at his Quiet Council seat, I think, is very funny. I also want to know what this man does.
Yes, I also want to know what he does, because he's not running the company. He kind of does his Quiet Council meetings every now and again, but like he's not doing X-Force. There's no X-Men. What is he doing?
Yeah, like what is bro looking at? I don't know.
Yeah, what emails is he getting, Is the UN emailing him every now and again? Is that all he's doing?
This is him asking North Star, "Hey, can we talk about Trevor?"
Yes, just sending out really nosy emails every now and again. He's got big CEO energy right here.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of text. This issue has a lot of text. There's a lot of talking.
Yeah.
But to summarize, there's an upcoming launch that X-Corp wants to do, but it's been stalled because of legal problems with airspace regulation or rights. Monet wants to say, screw it, let's go live, while Warren and Xavier want to play it a little bit slow and take their time, play it safe. And that's kind of where it ends.
Yeah, it seems like we're talking about launch in the corporate sense, but we are actually discussing airspace. So it's like, what is this that we're talking about?
Double speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how does it relate to X-Corp, which seems to be primarily about the export of the flowers?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's a lot of... I'm trying to find the best way to put this. It's a lot of hinting and attempts to build some intrigue of like, ooh, what are they doing? What's going on? Etc. But I don't think it lands very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I can't quite explain why it doesn't land. I just feel like it doesn't.
There's a mention of the board of directors too, which is a little reminiscent of the Marauder stuff.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, we're just like trying to fill the seats.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking to expand the board of directors. We're thinking 5 people. We're gonna get on that. I don't know if it means 5 total or like an additional 5. So yeah, I guess we'll see. We cut to Peanuts kicking a guard.
Yep.
In India.
Over in Mumbai, India. And after she takes out the last one of these cops that are called the Indian Mutant Defense Force, she kind of calms down and talks to the person she was actually here to see, whose name is Trinary. So I'm probably going to butcher her name, and I apologize. Shilpa Khatri, I believe, or Trinary. She was introduced in X-Men Red #1 in 2018. She's a young mutant from India, and she used her powers of being able to talk to technology to basically steal money from the top 25 highest earning CEOs in India, and gave all of that money to different women in India. She ends up getting arrested because of that, because her dad turns her over, but Jean Grey comes and rescues her. After that, she sort of disappeared up until this moment where Penance finds her and is giving her an impromptu job application, air quotes.
Yeah. I
need a security specialist.
I like this bit about Shinari like hitting her with a sob story and Penance just immediately reading through it of just like, yeah, no. So you were stealing money, right?
Yeah, no, you weren't doing something else. You stole money from those CEOs. You gave it to a bunch of women in need. You did a good thing. But also, I could use that, so why don't you come work with me in X-Corp?
Yeah. It offers her a board position.
Yep.
Yeah, so not even, something minor. We're just immediately jumping into starting to fill the board. As the two of them then head out to leave through the gate that is here in India, Monet asks her to tap into the new HQ's tech and sees how well she can interface. By doing this, Trinary does learn that there is some vicious malware that is trying to break into the system, but that's about it.
Yeah.
It's funny how her power gets explained as not exactly being like hacker abilities, but more like being a sort of empath for software, which is interesting.
Yeah.
She experiences software as if they had some degree of intent that she could read.
Yeah,
or like communicate with.
Yeah, it is an interesting power set because how she describes it, she just kind of is like, yeah, it seems human in origin, and it's like that's an interesting thing to be able to identify. Like, it's not just like get rid of malware. It's like, oh yeah, I see how this works.
Yeah,
she's like able to check the vibes.
Yeah,
yes.
It's like, yeah, it's destructive. It wants to provoke a response, and it's like, I like how she's kind of confused about it. Yeah, I honestly think she is one of the better parts of this issue.
Yeah. It's also very funny as a kind of narrative device because you can easily limit what she is able to glean from any given threat while still making her seem like very useful.
Yeah.
Through gaining information that wouldn't be obtainable, from usual hacking, just hacking procedures or what have you.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in Brazil, Angel is taking a helicopter of a bunch of Brazilian soldiers who are just talking like mad shit.
Yeah, they
Yep.
they do not like mutants or Angel here in particular, which is also why he needs to be flown out to this place, which is owned by Jean-Pierre Cole. He is the previous owner of Noblesse Pharmaceuticals that Xavier bought out. We've heard his name before, and yeah, I believe we've seen him before as well. It's been in data pages here and there about all of the purchases and company moves that have been going on. So now we get to see more of that.
Yeah. Apparently he was in Jerusalem. I don't know if he was in the group that we saw, but I think it was established there was multiple of those groups.
Yeah, I believe you're right. It was multiple of those groups. I couldn't remember if he was involved in anything that was going on with the UN or not.
Yeah.
But not 100%. Either way.
Yeah, I do think this is a pretty... The soldiers are a pretty decent framing device just to show, like, yeah, Brazil's a little bit hostile.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Cole's here making himself, like, some kind of beverage. Seems to be wine.
Yeah, and we're immediately going to be introduced with what I put in my notes as the Casino Planet Racing from Star Wars Episode 8. Because we're going to have a lot of weird horses, there's a lot of rich people, and we're just going to watch some races.
Yeah, it's horse races, but if the horses were, like, fire horses and, like, some kind of aqua horse.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a literal seahorse, except, like, yeah, I don't know. There's a Pegasus.
Yeah, there's a name for that horse too, the water horse, and the name is not coming to me, but there's a name for this thing.
Yeah.
But either way, as this is going on, we have Jean-Pierre Cole talking to Angel, and this is where we're going to get into a lot of the meat of the issue, which is Jean-Pierre is old, rich money, and does not like the fact that mutants are this new young blood money that are trying to take over and be more powerful and more popular, and he is going to not so subtly say, you need to pay me more than what you paid for my company, because if you don't, I am going to go to the UN and tell them that your pharmacy plant in the environmental protectorate of the Savage Land is actually destroying that place.
Yeah. We get a little bit of corporate speak here and there, but yeah, the kind of the root of it is Cole is upset because what he had his company bought out for wasn't really what he thought it would be at the time. Just the way they've like kind of upped themselves in value means they clearly have more to offer, so he wants more now. Yeah, he's trying to use the letter of the law as we kind of get this from the next data page we got here.
Yeah, and some of this, is accurate. Article 96 of the UN Charter is real. It does allow the UN to investigate possible misuse of protected lands. The coordinates given for the Savage Land actually do correspond with a location in Antarctica, which is really fun. Apparently, at one point in the past, Marvel decided to map out a couple of exact locations for places. And the Savage Land just has an exact location down there. So if you ever want to look it up, just look at with these coordinates and you will just find the location. It's a mountain range.
It's basically just trying to get the UN involved. Like, hey, aren't they doing a bad?
Yeah, aren't they doing a bad thing?
Meanwhile, back in the Savage Land, we gonna get a look at the processing plant there. It's a bunch of multiple men working at them.
Which I do think is just a very fun kind of idea and thing that he does, where multiple man, being a man of science, just turn the whole lab into you. It's a very efficient way to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the sign that's just a flower.
Yes.
Inside of a rhombus.
Yeah.
It's the flower lab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the
just in case you weren't sure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The Madrocks are mad that Monet's here. It's a secure facility. What are you doing? And she immediately knees one in the guts, which makes another duplicate. And another Madrox comes out and he's mad because we don't like unauthorized duplicates.
Yeah. So this being Madro Prime, he pretty much, takes back the duplicates and says, hey, what are you doing? We're busy. We have a lot of stuff. So, hey, we need to get this going. And Monet essentially says, hey, we're going to expand X-Corp. We're doing it fast. So do you want back on the board of directors? Because he used to be in the past. And at first, he really isn't feeling it. But she's not...
He's hanging out in his little flower lab. He's having fun.
Yeah, he just gets to do, weird science.
Yeah. But then she kind of throws out that he's leaving his interests unprotected. And he's like, hold on. And makes another dupe, hands him the lab jacket, and goes off to figure out what the heck is going on.
Yeah, and she basically just gets him hook, line, and sinker with that.
Yeah.
So, back at X-Corp HQ, Trinary, Multiple Man, and Monet are all there, chatting about the ransomware problem, when Monet reaches out to Angel just to check in on how he's doing down in Brazil. The two have a conversation, and she thinks that Cole is behind the ransomware attack, even though they can't quite figure out what it's going for, and thinks that he's probably targeting the Savage Land plant, and so she does not want Angel to acquiesce to any of his demands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, X-Corp HQ is its own island. I don't know if we've mentioned that.
Yeah, it is a big ol' island. It's the first page of the comic is just an overview of it.
Yeah, mutants have a lot of things going on with islands right now, so I appreciate the branding.
Yeah. So her and Warren kind of touch base a little bit. God, I'm even using corporate terms.
Yes.
And Angel kind of wants to just pay him. And Monet's like, no, don't give this man money. Kill him and hide him. And she's getting progressively more agitated as this conversation goes on. And she makes the comment she doesn't want to shift into her other form because it's going to sever her psychic connection. I guess that's how it works. And then she does, and phone call drops.
Yeah, so she's got a bit of a Hulk situation here where if she gets mad or upset, the other one comes out. And yeah, this does kind of halt any of her psychic abilities. So that gets dropped. Angel is kind of left on his own back in Brazil, and he's trying to explain that to her of, hey, look, it's not about the money. We can just give it to him because we have a lot. And people rely on these drugs now, so like, let's just do this. But she's not on the other end of the line. It's
not extortion anymore, and he's just being like, yeah, he's saying we're in the violation of the UN. We still have other bases, but we don't want this to threaten our supply chain here. And it's, I think Monet's right. This is extortion, Angel.
Yes.
It's very funny how he just folds.
Yeah, he's very much like, yeah, let's just give him the money. It's fine. And it's like, no. You don't want to do that because then other people are going to want to have money. Yeah.
And completely, like, acquiesces to the point.
Yeah.
He's talking about how they're going to, like, turn down that Savage Land base.
Yeah, they're even going so far as to just get rid of that place and move it to acquiescing to his demands, which I don't know if that's Angel's naivete or if he really is just like, it doesn't matter because we can just move it.
And here's the thing. I feel like this is a very weird thing to do with this character, too. He comes across as very naive here, but it's like, you have like this kind of like old money, new money thing kind of going on in the background, but it's like, Angel's been rich. Like, what do you mean? How is he this naive about this stuff?
Yeah, if we're talking old money, like, Angel's family is old money. Monet is also from money. Both of them are actually very, very rich. They're millionaires. But I believe Angel's family is much older. So this is more of like a mutants as a whole being rich. But again, I agree, that doesn't really explain why Angel's just kind of like, shrug, let's go for it.
Yeah. Cole comes outside and makes some kind of point here about how it would be unsporting of him to come outside and take a phone call, which is just, what are you talking about, man? Is that a thing in the corporate world? Like, I
guess of calling a friend and helping out with negotiations. I have no idea. But you know, the two go back in, and we cut back to Monet as she's starting to calm down and gets angry again as she realizes, oh no, we actually just played into Cole's entire plan. You know, Angel is stuck in Brazil. There's the ransomware going on. She can't really contact him and figure this out. Everything's falling apart.
Yeah, and then rips off a panel and says it's time to get this show on the road. We're getting this up in the air.
Look, the infrastructure here seems very shoddy. Like, when she gets transformed at first, she basically rips through a wall in a way that makes it look like it was made out of cardboard. And then she's just ripping stuff out of the console here in a way that doesn't really, like... I don't feel like this is portrayed in a manner that displays strength more so than, I think these parts were just stuck with like scotch tape.
Yeah,
there is not a lot of integrity to the place.
Yeah. I feel like the wall bit is really, really funny. It really feels like she's shredding through paper. They just printed a wall.
You know, maybe that's just in the contract because they're like, look, one of the CXOs could lose her mind at any moment and just bust a hole in the wall. Just make it easy to replace.
Yeah. It's fine. Trinari mentions like, oh yeah, I did think it was kind of weird when I was talking to the machine. They kept, talking about thrusters and turbines. I was like, so like, is this part? Does it become like an escape pod? And no, the whole island flies, which I feel like this is really dangerous to do. Like I get the moment it's doing, but I'm like, what if people were just like out and about?
Right?
Yeah.
Because we did see like an entire little film crew and everything earlier. There were people around, and all of a sudden they're all just kind of gone.
Yeah.
So it works out, but yeah. But yeah, the island can fly. So that's cool.
Yeah. Also, just hold on tight. You haven't signed liability forms yet. Is a funny. Trinari notes that it's solar powered. And
there is still the problem with airspace and where they can go, but at the moment, Monet doesn't really care. They have to go and get Angel. And thankfully, this base also has a pretty cool tech built into it. While it can't go through a Krakoan gate because it is much too large, it can teleport tied to the Krakoan gates. So as long as they're near a gate, they can access it and teleport the entire island over another gate.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the point at which the issue is gets completely off the rails for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of...
I don't know what we're doing anymore. Why is this about a flying island?
Yeah, we kind of went from a rather grounded corporate kind of political intrigue kind of thing to, okay, the island flies now, we're going to go teleport to Brazil and go do a couple of things.
Yeah.
It's funny because the whole thing has hinged so far on like negotiation and like business intrigue and things like that, and making sure that we're being devious and a little clever about legal stuff and not making ourselves like easy targets for this bad guy. And now we're literally invading a country.
Yeah, just here is our flying island base just in the air. And it's like, yeah, that seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, the stakes were well established alongside, again, like legal lines and making sure everything's at least seemingly up to code. And then that's just thrown out the window.
Yeah, and we're gonna see why that's done. It's gonna be explained later. I don't know if the explanation works for me. But as we're taking off here, Multiple Man does mention like, oh, okay, so if this place can teleport, we can go down to the Savage Land, save all my dupes, and get them out, because they're pretty sure that
it's under attack, yeah.
Yeah, it's under attack at this point. This was a coordinated effort to separate everybody.
Yeah. Multiple Man's not happy about this. Says like, hey, I want to get my boys. And she's like, oh, is there anyone there that's like not a dupe? And he's like, no. And she's like, oh, yeah, we'll get it. Yeah, I'll get
the way the like individuality and kind of identity of the dupes gets completely ignored by Penance feels very mean to me after Multiple Man has said so many times that they are not just like duplicates, that they have a degree of identity to them that he values, that is important to him.
Yeah, it feels very weird how she just keeps trampling on that over this issue. It's going to keep happening. Like, we aren't even done with it yet.
It's very mean. He keeps telling you,
like, hey, no, this is
important.
Yeah, like I need this, and then we kind of get into it later, but it ends up with him like losing an entire week's worth of like work done by like a bunch of guys.
Yeah, he's made it really clear they're not like illusions. They're not just like puppets he's masterminding. They're actual like people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if
he values,
if I don't reabsorb them, like it's just gone. Like,
I just appreciate his efforts to like keep the issue on rails, because you can see another version of this where they do go to the Savage Land to try to foil this guy's plans.
Yeah.
And make it like impossible for him to submit the letter because everything's fine, because they, managed to stop what was about to happen. And the decision to go to Brazil is just so out of left field and nonsensical to me.
Yeah, I don't like, even with the explanation that we get here. Let's go into it a little bit more. We'll talk about it.
Sure. Yeah, they show up above Brazil.
Yes. So back at Brazil, as Pierre and Angel continue to talk, Pierre basically reveals his evil plan and says, "Oh, no, you're too late to do anything about the Savage Land. We blew it up, and we're going to give you a really bad PR day because everyone's going to be mad that you're dangerous and unauthorized, lab in a protected environmental space did a bunch of damage."
Yeah, we made sure to make it seem like it was your fault.
Yeah.
Angel... just very... I don't know. I think it's funny that Cole just kind of goes like, ha ha ha, here's our whole plan.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Angel tries to do this bit about how he's like, we're not going to choose between being good businessmen and simply good men. We will just be both. Cole's like, oh no, you're not going to be able to do this. It's they're going to blame mutant engineering. We've made sure of that. And then the big old island teleports in over Brazil, over the specifically our favorite location, Nova Roma.
Yep, I saw that little name tag and I went, oh no, poor Sergio.
Yeah, look, I don't even care at this point.
I think that's fair, because yeah, we're so far gone off the rails here that having them show up is like, okay, sure, I guess. And
also, just taking a couple of steps back, I think Angel's response to this Cole guy revealing his entire plan makes no sense. At no point is he making them choose between being good businessmen and good men. He's just an evil guy trying to blow up shit and making them look bad.
Yeah, it's just extortion, and you didn't do the extortion, and so the lab got blown up.
I don't know what this guy's thinking. Angel, I mean.
Yeah, also
the way this whole thing is like intersped with a robot horse race is really funny.
Yeah.
It is. We haven't touched on it. Like, I do feel that the whole story is, you have, I don't know, I think it's supposed to be a whole conversation on old money versus like new money, which Cole is trying to talk about. But at the same time,
Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah, I feel like the horse race is supposed to just kind of just be like a symbolize of like, this is an actual horse race. Like it feels like a little bit too on the nose metaphor wise. Also, just a small nitpick. I like the idea that apparently Nova Roma is just kind of over the mountains here. Just, just pretty close.
Literally like a couple of kilometers away.
Yeah, yes. I'm like, I get that it's like, plot convenience, but like Brazil's a big country. Like,
yeah, Brazil's massive. Yeah. I don't think Nova Roma is that close to the coast.
Yeah. Yeah, multiple man, very upset still about his dupes. Yeah, he mentions again like he just lost a week's worth of like work with this lab going up in smokes like this, and like this is good work. Like he lost a lot here. Like this isn't replaceable. This isn't just something you can just like throw money into. And again, just gets brushed off. We got helicopters. We got to do that now. And yeah, there is a military response because you did just teleport a giant fortress into their airspace.
Now that you've pointed it out, I do like Multiple Man as like the straight guy in this, just trying to be very serious and bring everything back down to normal, and he just can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so all of these helicopters, it's mentioned very briefly, like right at the start when Angel gets to Brazil, but this is Cole's private military force. So this is not the Brazilian Air Force. This is just his own little like private air escort that he has, but it does kind of give the same effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. and they escape. Basically, that's all that happens here.
Yeah, he does his little archangel wings to dodge some of the bullets. She comments that, "Oh, you did a good job about not letting your other you out." And we have a cute little introduction, and we teleport out of there.
Yeah, the ship can also go up into low orbit, so they're able to get away from the helicopters, and that's that. We do get a little bit of a comment here that this whole thing, essentially what Monet did, which is to bring the whole thing up and just pop it over Brazil for all of this to happen, was to stop any of the bad press happening in the Savage Lands. And she even mentions that, hey, that story isn't trending, but the story about our new HQ that can fly, that's trending everywhere and is all anyone's talking about.
Yeah, and that's
that makes no sense.
That's bumping up the stock prices. It's like, what? Why would that bump up the stock prices?
They're doing crime. They did a crime. They did a crime to cover up the other crime, and somehow that cancels out, and they are good now, and their stock is on the rise.
Yeah,
even though they are not on the stock exchange, in the stock market actually, because they have no plans to do an IPO. So I don't know what people are speculating on. But yeah, I don't understand how this happens.
Back when this came out, I would have totally agreed and been like, that doesn't make any sense. That's not how the stock market works. Considering everything that has happened with Tesla in the US stock market, this makes a lot of sense. There is no sense in the stock market. Everything doesn't matter, So mutants doing this kind of crazy tech thing, even if they aren't on the market, and other tech companies going up in response, sure. I can believe that kind of weird nonsense.
Yeah, I'll be the first person to tell you that the stock market makes no sense.
Yeah.
Make no mistake.
Yeah.
But still, they were trying to get out of, bad press in a way that was, political, and they were trying to protect themselves from, repercussions that, had a basis on, the ethical side of things and the environmental side of things, and they kind of skirted that by invading Brazil.
Yeah, you teleported a island base into an enemy nation's airspace. What do you mean your stock prices went up?
Also, mutants, very well known for having incredible technology that also they are not willing to share. There is absolutely nothing about this display that suggests that this would be technology that's available to people.
And again, we're not talking about our world here. This is Marvel world. This is a world where helicarriers exist, where they just have flying things already. S.H.I.E.L.D. had a ton of these. I am sure there is some random evil group that had a flying fortress at one point. I bet Magneto had multiple.
The paragraph, a sentence in this newspaper clipping says, today's display clearly shows that X-Corp is looking to sell a lot more than pills, and I just don't buy that.
Yeah, I'm like, what are they selling? Jet turbines?
I have no idea what this corporation is for.
Yeah.
One whole issue later. This was supposed to be their introduction. I don't know what they're doing. The only thing we saw was the flower plant explode, be destroyed.
Yeah.
There's a more to read. Our tech analysts take on what industries stand to benefit from the expansion. I have no idea what those tech analysts are saying based on having seen a huge island appear overhead and then fly up into the low orbit.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot riding on just kind of the assumption of, okay, this is a corporation doing this, and clearly that means they're going to sell it, which is not the case, and it's kind of a weird jump to make.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't buy this. I think this is a kind of a through line for the whole issue, in that we start with a bunch of nothing words and then end on blind speculation. I don't think it works super well because as the reader, I don't know what's actually happening.
Yeah, the whole flying island plot is just an absolute mess, and I feel like the issue is like completely relying on that like landing, and it just doesn't. Angel, I don't think a lot of the main characters come across great here too. Angel and Penance especially.
I kind of hate them both. Yes.
Yeah. Trinari and Multiple Man seem okay. I don't know about these two.
I feel like it's supposed to be set up of like Angel is the calm, collected one, and Penance is the one that just runs on her emotions. And even then, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
Penance just comes across as mean, and also like Angel comes across as naive. And both of them just don't feel compelling in a plot about like the corporate world.
Yes, and I don't. Because the thing is conceptually as an idea, I don't hate it. You know, as an idea of, okay, let's see what mutants do in a corporate world of trying to rise up and do everything like that. Sure, I could probably read a story like that, but this isn't the way to do it. And I'm not sure if there's one specific problem, or it's just a whole lot of little things.
And like, again, like Angel's little like blurb at that when Cole was kind of giving him the ultimatum about how like if you want us to choose between being good men and good businessmen, we simply won't do that. We're not going to fall into that path. Like, that sounds like an okay story. I would have liked to have gotten that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just like a flying island, and yeah, it just. I'm cool with funky comic stuff. This one just doesn't work.
Yeah. it's I'm very interested to see how we feel about this one as it keeps going, because it's not very long. There's only 6 issues of it, so we're not going to be with it for too long. Is it 5?
Is it 6 or 5? I think it's 5.
It's 5. I was wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we
Even
don't
one
have
less.
long. We don't have long with X-Corp. Yeah.
So I am interested in picking this up again just to see where it goes, because I remember it going a few places, but I am curious. Yeah, I'm just very curious. I want to discuss this one more as we keep going with it.
Yeah. Anyway, want to talk about Marauders?
Anyway, the best issue of this episode is Marauders. So, Marauders number 20, Wind Riders, is written by Gary Duggan, and this one also came out in May of 2021. And we're going to open up with a data page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kate is getting a little diamond brooch thing with a bullet on it.
Mm-hmm. Specifically from Emma. She said she got it made custom for her and wants Kate to wear it at the gala just to humor her. And also, if you decide to gift the brooch to an urchin, just don't tell her.
Yeah. The bullet, I don't know if we've ever talked about this. There was an issue of X-Men at one point where a very large bullet was fired at the Earth, and Kate managed to save the world by phasing through the bullets and phased it through the planet.
That's very funny.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's peak
That's
comics.
hilarious.
That is very peak comics, but I like that, and it's kind of a sweet little gesture from Emma. I really like Emma and Kate's entire relationship in Marauders, so this just continues to reinforce that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Mercury, we kind of go into our actual issue here. The Mercury is sailing through the seas. We're on like the eve of the Hellfire Gala here. Mercury's just looking like an actual pirate ship at this point. And we got the whole crew here for dinner. And like when I say the whole crew, it is the whole crew.
Yes, if they are a member of the Hellfire crew, they are here.
Yeah.
You have Shinobi Shaw, you have Callisto, Iceman, Bishop, Pyro, Kate, Christian, and Storm.
Yeah, and Emma.
And Emma, yes.
And Storm's leaving the team.
Yeah, she discussed this before, but she feels like it's time to move on. So we just kind of have a nice farewell dinner and, of a, let's just get together before this big event we're going to have tomorrow. And Pyro, interestingly enough, is going to be the one that kind of kicks off the conversation here, and is going to kick off really the topic of the issue, which he says, as he opens, "I'm impressed. I thought I'd have quit this crew or been thrown in the hole before you flew out of here." And he then hands her one of his markers, which lets her call in a favor from him at any point.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I honestly think Pyro in this just comic is one of the more interesting parts, just by the way. Like, I like how this is a character that is traditionally a villain, and him fitting into this crew the way he has been very charming. Like, honestly, probably one of my more favorite parts of Krakoa.
Yeah, I think he's really worked. Like, he's kind of an understated element in the crew, but always very reliable and always he makes a big impact every time he's on.
I'm also currently reading Dugan's West Coast Avengers, which is like an offshoot of the Avengers that he's doing right now. He also has a villain that's being reformed on that team. I think this is just something he likes doing.
Hey, you know what? If you got something that you like, go for it.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna tell stories about Storm, and Pyro's gonna kick us off here about Storm in a shipyard.
Yep, and the one time that Storm was able to solve a situation without having to shoot any lightning or do anything else. So at a shipbreaker yard in India, we see Storm walk up to the foreman and say that, hey, you have a citizen of Krakoa trapped here. You call her Lash. And as the foreman tries to talk his way out of it, all she does is throws a knife through his clipboard and is then taken to the girl.
Yeah. He immediately starts begging for his life, and she's like, yep, take me to the girl. He does this, and you see her power is making, it seems to be energy whips and being able to cut through ships that way. He mentions that she does the work of a dozen men. Storm just retorts with most of you, which is just a cool reply. Go off,
queen.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The girl doesn't want to stop working. She says they have my family, and she just replies with, they don't anymore. We already saved them. You can leave now. She just breaks down, hugs Storm, asks her if it's really happening, and that's kind of the end of our flashback. It's a good flashback. I honestly think it's the best one here that we're gonna get.
It is. It's a good flashback.
It's one of the better ones, for sure.
Yeah. Just a very quick. Storm takes control of the situation, does what she needs to do, all to save someone.
Yeah, it's very competent. It's very cool. If you're trying to sell me on Storm being cool, you did a good job.
Yep.
I like Bishop also just being like, she caught a lightning whip, and you're impressed by the knife, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, because that was cool.
Yeah.
Also, little thing, Lash, she was made up for this. She doesn't show up anywhere else. Weirdly enough, there is another character named Lash in Marvel, but he's an Inhuman and completely different.
Yeah, he's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. My boy Lash. Yeah.
So, there you go. But this girl here, she's cool.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, she's cool. You would think she's, they've got uses for her.
Yeah,
right?
I would think so too. She does the work of a dozen men. But yeah, apparently not. Christian says they should wager on how many knives Storm has, and that's also going to be a through line of this issue. Pyro says 3, just lowballs it hard. I like Storm just laughing about it.
Yeah, it's really sweet. And they're very quickly, we're going to kind of take a side thing because Emma gets a little seasick. So we see Kate kind of bang on the ceiling. Apparently Lockheed is driving the boat and just tells him to hey, stop rolling with the waves. We gotta calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. We're gonna see him later, and it's a lot of fun looking him on the little wheel.
Yeah. Oh, I love Lockheed so much. But it is Bishop's turn for his story. So he mentions that Storm, got him out of a jam in Angola earlier that year, and Storm's like, I didn't go with you there, and he's like, that's not what they thought.
Yeah, and it's a very short scene. They're talking to some dudes on the beach. It's Bishop and Pyro. They're like, yeah, Storm's looking down pretty mad. And these guys are like, we have the advantage in numbers. Lightning cracks, and they're like, oh well, you really want to mess with Storm? And they're like, nope, free the mutants.
Yeah.
Which
this might be my favorite.
This one's really good. Just invoking her name is enough to scare people.
Yeah.
So that is Bishop's story, and he guesses a lucky 7 knives.
Yeah, Callisto makes a joke here about them being in for surprise, and Iceman guesses 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then Iceman gives her story about Storm just punching the hate monger real hard.
Yes,
Yeah,
I love this.
Kind of leaned against the wall.
Yeah. Iceman's just chilling while Storm just fist fights this man.
Yeah, and not even, that's, I think, my favorite part about this story is she doesn't even have to use her powers or anything. She just kicks and slaps this guy enough to beat him so badly that when she kneels down and whispers something to him, he takes off his clan hood and throws it in the trash.
Yeah.
She scared this man so bad. That was all she had to do.
As the story opens, she's like punching him in the throat.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's really funny.
She dismantles this man. Like,
yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yes?
Callisto says she can confirm that getting rolled by Aurora will hurt your body and change your mind. And we all have a toast together. Callisto just says her favorite Storm story is the one where Storm raised her hand up when she got resurrected, which I think is sweet. We don't really see it. I feel like we don't have to. We already kind of got most of it.
Yeah, she doesn't actually mention it. She just says, like, well, I got a lot of them, but there's only one that matters, and the two look at each other, so they clearly know what story it is, but it doesn't need to be said out loud. And then Callisto also says, I'm not going to make a fool of myself. I'm not guessing how many knives she has.
Yeah. Also, I'm not going to drink too hard now. We have a party tomorrow. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. So, first one out for the night. And this time it's Emma's turn. And she says she can't fathom a guess how many knives Storm has without intruding into her mind. And she learned a long time ago not to do that. And we see a cut to that incident as Storm just gives her the biggest slap across the cheek that I have ever seen.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just like Emma looking upset on the ground as Storm just stands above her, and then Storm reaches out a hand, and helps her back up. And this moment seems to have stuck with Emma quite a bit. And her answer is, it doesn't matter how many knives she has; it's irrelevant. She doesn't need them.
Which, honestly, true.
Yeah.
So Emma is then going to be the next one to leave, and she says, thank you to Storm for helping shape the Hellfire Trading Company back to where it is, and also for helping, the children, which is what Emma's in this for, and also suggests that everybody else goes to bed because tomorrow they change the world.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, it's Kate's turn for a story. But she mentions that her favorite Storm's stories are the one where she's crying. And we get a early Krakoa flashback here.
Yeah, back at the start where the first time Kate tried to walk through a portal and instead broke her nose.
Yeah.
We see pretty much the immediate aftermath of that as Kate is worrying she's not a mutant, where Storm just very calmly tells her, well, that would be weird considering how much mutant pride you've exuded over the years, and then just quickly fixes her broken nose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very, very no nonsense, just fixes her nose, just tells her, like, no, you probably are a mutant, and, like, that's kind of an exchange. And yeah, now we're gonna get the reveal of how many knives she has.
Oh, I love this page so much. So Storm just stands up and proceeds to take out knives by twos and just flings them into the table.
Yeah, we get 2 at first, then we get another 4, another 6, and then gets 2 knives from the boots, and then says they're meant to distract from this one, and pulls a knife out of her hair.
It is 8 total.
Yeah, and Bishop just remarks, that's not all of them, right?
Hey, Pyro says no, and Storm just does not reply.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she just mentions it was a pleasure.
Yeah. So she is off the Marauders. This is the end, and we'll see where she goes next, especially considering the Hellfire Gala is coming up, and that whole thing, especially with their apparent changing the world. we're gonna see what happens to Storm pretty soon.
Yeah. We get Lockheed on the wheel. Emma gives him a little scratch under the chin.
What a good boy. I love Lockheed so much.
And then we get the
He looks so funny just maneuvering
Yes.
the wheel.
We get the reveal that it truly was the full crew. Sebastian's here. Just up near the mast of the ship.
He's play acting a cool pirate.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, because as he mentions, as Emma asks, what are you doing up here? He's like, I liked Captain Blood and Treasure Island when I was a kid. So
yeah.
It
is literal. Like he thought it would be cool to like sit here, which, like, I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah, he gets to do something cool, and he's trying to make himself happy because he's gonna mention here that despite all they've accomplished, he can't be happy.
Yeah, and mentions a name here, Lourdes Chantel.
Yes, and so she's another one of a bit of a deep cut. She is known as the Black Queen. She was introduced in classic X-Men #7 back in 1986. She is a lover of Sebastian Shaw and a mutant with teleportation powers. She died years ago during an attack from the then leader of the Hellfire Club who tried to backstab Sebastian and got people around him killed. So he has never quite gotten over her death and her loss, and is now pretty sad at the fact that Lords did die before Cerebro came online. So there is no way to bring her back.
Yeah. Sebastian just seems very upset about it. And mentions that he has an idea and he hopes that she will support the idea they go to the council. And yeah, on the surface, it seems like this is an idea from Sebastian that isn't just inherently self-serving. I mean, he's still trying to get his girl back, but yeah.
It doesn't seem too bad, and it would be bringing someone back who would have died before Cerebro. So it sounds like whatever idea he has would have opened up resurrection for other people who died before Cerebro.
Yeah. And then mentions their brightest days are at hand as we get the shot of them approaching the place where they're going to have the Hellfire Gala. We just get this really ominous, like, Space Needle looking thing with a sentinel head sticking out as we get a thunder strike in the background with, like, the rain coming down. It's a pretty cool shot.
Cool shot, and honestly, great power move by the mutants to have the mutant killer robot be an adornment on your giant island. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really, really like this issue.
Yeah, we end things off of a data page just kind of explaining how they found Lash.
Yep.
Just they opened up whenever they were making, offering assistance to mutants in Russia, and just like for people in general, they got a post of hundreds of millions of views where people show up in the comments section just mentioning mutants that they know that are in need, and they got Lash from that. Or someone mentioned Lash there, and they leave the comments open to that because they and monitor those as well because they found a lot of mutants. And yeah, that's the end of the issue. I agree. I think this one is very solid.
I really like the idea of the little anthology of short stories all around Storm. Kind of makes me wish she had her own comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. And I mean, I agree with both of you. I think this is easily the strongest out of the issues we've read. It's also one of my personal favorite Marauders issues out of the bunch. I just really like it. It's really sweet and homey with all of them just getting together and just celebrating Storm as she's going off to do something else. I like the look back at her as a character a little bit. And just also the talk of, there's still stuff going on in the future. It's just a very, very good issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to say we're going to get to the Hellfire Gala next time, but we got about 6 more issues to cover before then. And next time, we will be starting a new series with Way of X #1. We will be covering Way of X #2 as well, and then Cable #11.
I am extremely excited for Way of X because I have a feeling we're going to have some fun discussions on that one.
Oh boy, this is this is gonna be a doozy.
Yeah. This comic decided to handle a lot of the bigger ethical questions of Krakoa, and I think that's really fun.
Yeah. I'm excited for this one. That's all we'll say. We'll talk about it next time, but this should be good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anybody have any more thoughts about these issues?
No, not really. Really excited for next episode. I'm hoping that Way of X is gonna make a better first impression that X-Corp did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also just shout out to Leah Williams, and I still feel really bad with how X Factor ended, because that's such a bummer.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, that kind of sucks, because, X Factor was never my favorite, but you can really tell he had to kick things into high gear to try and stick the landing, which is really regrettable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll discuss that in a couple more episodes from now. We will eventually get to the ending of X Factor. But, yeah, onward to Way of X.
Yeah. So,
all right, plugs.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. If you can give us your review on your podcasting app of choice, that would be great. It helps us get out there and find other people who can read along and join this wonderful journey that we're going through Krakoa. If you have any questions or comments or thoughts, or perhaps a joke or two, you can send them to studyofx@gmail.com, and Tim might just read it here on the podcast. If you are looking for the podcast on social media, where you can see our current reading order, as well as some images from the comics themselves that we have read during that week, you can find us on Tumblr and on Blue Sky. For both of those, it is going to be Study of X. And if you are looking for us individually, you can find me at Sonics on Blue Sky. That is SAWNEEKS. And if you are looking for Sergio, and so you can, give him some interesting articles and pieces of lore of Nova Roma, Sergio, where can they find you?
I'm just like a couple of kilometers away from Nova Roma, actually, just here, petting a Kelpie.
Ooh. Oh, see,
Kelpie.
okay, yeah, that's what it was called.
That was what it was. See,
Yeah.
I was trying to think of Berserk 2, Sergio, the entire time. I was like,
I've had that locked and loaded for like 45 minutes.
oh, that's
Nice.
good. I could not remember, it'd been too long since I've read that, issue.
Uh-huh.
But yeah.
Okay, there you go. It's a Kelpie, everybody. Now
Yeah.
you can have that. But also, if you are looking for Tim, and you are looking to give him some history into Celtic folklore, and perhaps how to avoid the Morrigan, where can I find you, Tim?
Also a few kilometers away from Nova Roma. More upwards, though. I'm on a floating island. I don't know why.
Okay. Make sure you buy some stocks while you're up there. I heard they are soon to be going up.
They won't let me until I sign the liability form.
Oh, that's a tough one. Good luck with that. Alright, but until later, or until next time, I don't know. It's a Monday here. I'm quite tired. Until next time, mutants.
Bye.
Bye.